I gotta say, I've always been a sucker for reformed villains, and Dragon Ball has no shortage. Ten Shinhan, Vegeta, and of course the man of the hour, Piccolo. A man so cool and hardcore you forget he's named after a fruity little woodwind instrument. Much like Goku, he went from a magical being, in his case a demon, to an alien with no memory of his origin. What we do know about Piccolo is that he was the son of a Namekian named Katas, who sent him far from his homeworld to escape a calamity that befell Namek, of which Guru was the only survivor. The son of Katas lost his memory as a result of the trauma of the journey. Landing on Earth as a child, not much is known about his early life on Earth, but as he matured, he found himself in the apprenticeship of the former god of Earth. The nameless Namekian was rejected by said god, who would not allow him to bear the mantle of responsibility for watching over the world, because his spirit was not pure, as he still had an element of evil within himself. The nameless Namekian took drastic measures to remedy this by splitting himself in two, and so became the beings known as Kami, the pure good, and Piccolo Daimyo, the pure evil. And though through this act Kami had purified himself and was deemed worthy to succeed the former god of Earth, unfortunately, the separation of the nameless Namekian had dire consequences, as the evil half of him set out on a path of destruction. Piccolo Daimyo is a very interesting figure, because while he is technically Namekian, he is a corrupted being, born from the malice in the heart of the son of Katas. Namekians can reproduce asexually, but Piccolo's children were, much like him, completely corrupted. Piccolo would give life to countless monsters that would scour the earth, spreading his darkness to the four corners of the world. In an apocalyptic world, on the brink of collapse, there was one man capable of putting an end to Piccolo's terror, and that was the martial arts master called Mutaito. Mutaito represented Earth's last hope. He and his top students, Roshi and Shen, Kame Sennin and Suru Sennin respectively, they were the only ones able to fight back against Piccolo and his demon army. The situation was grim, until Mutaito, unable to kill Piccolo, was able to develop a technique to seal him away. The Mafuba, or Evil Containment Wave, was successful in sealing Piccolo within a pink rice cooker, but at the cost of Mutaito's life. Piccolo remained sealed at the bottom of the ocean for centuries until the Pilaf gang, of all people, fished him out, hoping they would be able to ride Piccolo's coattails to victory against Goku, as well as telling him about the Dragon Balls in the hopes that he'd be offered a territory to rule when Piccolo took over the world as compensation for his help. Piccolo, not wanting to take a chance on facing someone like Mutaito again, set out on a crusade to kill all martial artists. With his loyal mutant offspring and attendant Piano, they came up with the idea to take the records of current and past Tenkaichi Budokai entrants using his loyal fighter-class offspring Tambourine, as well as birthing Symbol, a monster whose purpose was to find the Dragon Balls. One by one, martial artists were being eliminated, and unfortunately this led to Tambourine killing Krillin immediately after the 22nd Tenkaichi Budokai, leaving behind his calling card next to the body. The exhausted post-tournament Goku was defeated by Tambourine, who also destroyed Goku's Quinto-un. But after recovering and with his new friend Yajirobe in tow, Goku made short work of Tambourine. Piccolo, having a psychic link to all his corrupted Namekian children, was immediately aware of Tambourine's death, as he felt his pain as if it were his own. Symbol happened across Goku and Yajirobe because of the Dragon Ball Yajirobe wore around his neck, only to end up being roasted over the fire for Yajirobe's lunch. Piccolo, after Symbol's death, decided to take matters into his own hands. And considering Goku also had a Dragon Ball, Piccolo killed two birds with one stone. Meanwhile, Roshi and Tenshinhan had been Dragon Ball hunting, with Roshi planning to use his old master's technique as a last resort to seal Piccolo away at the cost of his own life. Though Goku put up a good fight, Piccolo was simply out of his league. Piccolo had thought he killed Goku, but rather had only critically wounded him. Piccolo then had a run-in with Roshi, who lured him in with the two final Dragon Balls that Piccolo needed. Roshi attempted to use the Mafuba on Piccolo, who trembled with fear of being sealed away again, but unfortunately, Roshi missed the rice cooker, and Piccolo lived while Roshi died. Piccolo, now possessing all 7 Dragon Balls, went on to summon the Eternal Dragon, and having his wish granted, he was restored to the prime of his youth. And before Shenron disappeared, Piccolo killed Shenron with a mouth chi cannon, which I'm honestly surprised was even possible. I thought of Shenron as an immortal dragon that could only die if his creator died, but I have heard the theory that because Shenron was technically a part of him, Piccolo was able to end the Eternal Dragon. He did so in the hopes that no one would ever be able to use the Dragon Balls against him. Piccolo would then go on to the world's capital, where he would overthrow the King of Earth and publicly declare himself the new king, announcing that he would completely destroy every province in the world, one at a time, year after year, as a dark game, reveling in the horror he was creating. He also ordered all criminals to be freed for no other reason than to sow seeds of chaos in the world. The criminals happily welcomed their new king, who allowed them to run wild and terrorize society. Goku at the time had recovered at Korin's tower and was sent on a quest to retrieve the Ultra Divine Water, a magical potion that would either grant him incredible strength or kill him. He survived the Ultra Divine Water and headed toward King Piccolo's new home. Tenshinhan also planned to confront Piccolo, only to be stopped by Piccolo's 4th offspring, Drum. Tenshinhan was not able to handle Drum, but Goku intervened and made quick work of him. The final fight against Piccolo Daimyo had begun. Piccolo's power was beyond anything seen in the series before. No previous villain could compare to him. Piccolo fought dirty, too, even using Ten as a hostage, forcing Goku to endure a torturous onslaught of chi attacks that crippled him. Using a one-handed Kamehameha, Goku propelled himself toward Piccolo with one final attack that pierced through Piccolo's torso, and he somehow produced one final offspring with all his power, his very essence. He produced a child to carry on his legacy and act both as his son and as well as his reincarnation. The child's name was Majunior, or more commonly known as Piccolo Jr., whose sole purpose was to take revenge on the one who killed his father. Piccolo Jr., who we will just refer to as Piccolo going forward, lived in hiding as he grew his strength in preparation for his inevitable clash with Son Goku, where he would not only take revenge but secure his place as the world's new king, succeeding where his own father failed. Goku, having to find a way to revive his friends, goes to meet the creator of the Dragon Balls at Korin's advice. He used the Nyoibo to reach the home of Earth's god, Kami, the other half of Piccolo, who watched over the Earth and was expecting Goku. Goku initially attacked him thinking he was King Piccolo, but after resolving their misunderstanding, Kami opened up to Goku, saying he did not plan on reviving Shenron after Piccolo killed him because although Kami created the Dragon Balls to give mankind hope, he instead, for centuries, was forced to bear witness to the horrors that mankind had unleashed upon one another, consumed by their greed for the Dragon Ball's wish-granting power. Kami had the best of intentions, but as Earth's god, his role was to watch over the Earth and to guide it with a gentle, unseen hand. The role Kami filled was not one of direct intervention. In many ways, Kami felt helpless. He was forced to bear witness to atrocity after atrocity. Though he was devoted to his position, he became disillusioned with what it actually meant, and in many ways had given in to apathy. But after getting to meet Goku in person, he was moved by his pure-hearted nature. The warrior who had put an end to the original Piccolo daimyo was but a boy, one without a trace of malice in his heart. In many ways, Goku renewed Kami's sense of hope, and he decided to revive Shenron, and also bring back the moon. Just a side note here, I don't know what's more messed up, that God himself had essentially given up on Earth because of how greedy and evil humans are, or that humans are so awful, even God gave up on them. Like, if Goku didn't show up, I just imagine Kami, like, being like a shut-in or a hikikomori, just watching reruns of old TV shows on the lookout for all eternity while the world burns beneath him, because he's just so done with us. To be honest, we kind of deserve it. That's probably why God doesn't really, like, talk to us anymore, you know? Fortunately, the Eternal Dragon is revived, and Goku undergoes training under Kami and him.
Hi.
In all seriousness, though, Kami has deep regret for his separation with Piccolo. Though he was able to become the god of Earth and protect it, he ironically kind of doomed it in the process by unleashing his malicious half upon it. Kami is in a real tight spot here because while he wants to protect the Earth, he cannot kill Piccolo, not only because taking a life violates the rules of his position, but because they share one soul. To put it simply, if one dies, they both die. With no fitting replacement, even if Kami could kill Piccolo, he would be abandoning his post in death, leaving no one to watch over this beautiful world he has sworn to protect, which could open it up to innumerable other potential future threats. So he's damned if he does, damned if he doesn't. Kami does have a plan, though. You see, Goku has the purity of heart and strength of mind and body to not only defeat Piccolo, but maybe he could even replace Kami as the god of Earth. In regards to the fact that killing Piccolo will also end his life, Kami deliberately keeps this information from Goku, for fear that if he knew that Kami would die along with Piccolo, he would hesitate or otherwise spare Piccolo, and Kami wants the Earth to be rid of that demon once and for all, and he is prepared to die with him. Years later, the 23rd Tenkaichi Budokai is underway, and Piccolo is there, ready to take vengeance on Goku in front of the world and to continue his reign of terror where his father left off. Piccolo is a terror in the prelims, cutting through the competition like a hot knife through butter, naturally qualifying. The lineup for the tournament is Piccolo, Krillin, Ten Shinhan, Tao Pai Pai, who turns out he actually survived his fight with Goku and was also looking for revenge. We also have Yamcha, a mysterious woman, spoiler alert, it's Chi-Chi. Then of course the main man himself, Goku, and finally a nerdy old white-collar salaryman, Gee, I wonder who it could be. Psst. It's Kami. I won't go too deeply into the tournament as I want the focus to be on Piccolo, but here's the speedrun version. Round 1. 10 beats Tao. Goku beats his future wife. Piccolo beats Krillin, although even Piccolo had to show my man Krillin some respect. And of course, in usual Yamcha fashion, he's just curb stomped by God himself. Round 2. Goku beats 10, which is a banger fight, by the way. But then, the disguised Kami faces Piccolo, and they begin speaking a strange, almost alien language, almost like they're aliens. Keep in mind at this point in time, Toriyama hadn't made Piccolo/Kami an alien yet. But like Goku, he was just a strange being of ambiguous origin. But with future retconning, the nameless Namekian had simply lost all his memories of Namek. But they both retained the language for some reason. I love Toriyama, but he tends to play very fast and loose with the story. But anyway, Kami pulls out a small container, only to bust out a Mafuba. And while Piccolo feigns terror, he actually planned for this and pulls out his Uno reverse card and counters the Mafuba, causing Kami to drop the body of the poor old man he was possessing with his final words before being sealed, being a plea to Goku that it's now his job to stop Piccolo. And with that, we are set up for the final match of the tournament, Piccolo versus Goku. This fight would not only decide who was strongest under the heavens, but it would also decide the fate of the world. This fight is hands down the best in OG Dragon Ball, and I'd put it in top 5 best fights in the entire series. We see a lot of cool techniques, like Piccolo's extending arms, as well as his gigantification technique, which I'm kind of mad he never uses again in the series. Not to mention he shows off his regeneration, which would become a staple of Piccolo fights in the future. I don't want to go into too much detail about the fight. Honestly, just go watch it. It's awesome. During the fight, Piccolo swallows the container Kami is sealed in, telling Goku he will have to kill him to free Kami, thus killing Kami too in the process. Thankfully, Goku is able to pull Kami out of Piccolo's stomach while he's in his giant form. Later in the fight, Piccolo destroys the entire landscape during the fight using his demon explosive wave, and much like the fight with Piccolo Daimyo, he leaves Goku crippled. Although he didn't really do it in a dirty way this time, he just kind of caught Goku off guard. And the fight even ends on a similar note, with the critically injured Goku propelling himself toward Piccolo at incredible speed, using the flying technique, which at this point in the series was a very novel thing. And he lands a headbutt, which is the final blow of the fight, leaving Piccolo defeated. And while Kami wanted to kill him, Goku prevented it, because now he was wise to the link between Kami and Piccolo, and he decides to spare him, and even gives him a Zenzu bean, which deeply confuses Piccolo, but he vows to get his revenge someday. And Kami, who I guess is just so done with being God and guilty about his own failures, he actually offers his position to Goku, who promptly rejects him to go live his life with Chi-Chi. And thus Dragon Ball ends. And next, we're going to look into Dragon Ball Z.